This map shows the shifting borders of the historical Indian subcontinent. But around the year Vikram Samvat 111, provincial lines like these were drawn by two specific things: the edge of a sword and the blessing of the gods. Look at the heavy traditional weaponry and attire of these fighters. Men like Harpal Dev Makwana, a fierce Rajput warrior, survived purely on their martial skill. Displaced from his homeland in Rajasthan, Harpal Dev suddenly found himself a king without a kingdom. Driven by the absolute necessity to secure a home for his loyalists, he marched hundreds of miles southward, pushing deep into the arid, unforgiving regions of modern-day Gujarat. He immediately faced a massive logistical hurdle. Entrenched, heavily armed local powers already controlled these lands. A wandering exile with a small band of fighters possessed absolutely no mathematical chance of carving out a new territory through mortal warfare alone. Yet his march south did not go unnoticed. He had stepped into a domain watched closely by the supreme divine force of the region, goddess Shakti Ma. In ancient Indian lore, celestial favor is never freely distributed. The goddess demanded absolute proof of his physical courage and unyielding devotion before she would intervene in human politics. Harpal Dev retreated into the punishing wilderness. There, he subjected himself to severe spiritual and physical trials, pushing his body to the brink of collapse to prove his faith remained unbreakable. He survived. By enduring past the point of human failure, he shed his status as a mere wandering soldier and emerged as the goddess's chosen champion, possessing the supernatural assistance required to take an empire. Armed with his newfound divine strength, Harpal Dev hunted down a terrifying supernatural entity known as Babar Bhut. He physically grappled with the shadowy ghost in the barren desert and forced it into total, absolute submission. Word of a lone warrior commanding a captive ghost spread rapidly to the local Muslim rulers. The political implications of a neighbor wielding literal supernatural muscle terrified them. To neutralize his growing influence without risking open war, they offered a treaty. They agreed to grant Harpal Dev sole legal sovereignty over any village where he could physically tie a toran, a traditional garland, to its gates. The catch was strictly temporal. He had to complete this exact marking process entirely between dusk and the first light of dawn. They designed a guaranteed failure. Based on human endurance limits and vast settlement distances, they calculated he could only claim a few acres before sunrise. They miscalculated. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Harpal Dev utilized his supernatural asset. Driven by the warrior's command, the subdued Babar Bhut moved at a tireless, unearthly velocity across the darkened plains. Look at this map of the region. As darkness fell, Harpal Dev and the ghost tore across the landscape. They reached one settlement, tied the garland, and instantly vanished toward the next, entirely bypassing mortal speed limits. The pace was blinding. Hour by hour, the territory expanded exponentially, until they had successfully marked a staggering 2,300 separate villages in total darkness. But the sky to the east began to lighten. The relentless, high-speed pace had stretched Harpal Dev to the absolute brink of his endurance as dawn threatened to break. Suddenly, red kumkum powder magically cascaded from the sky, dropped directly from the hands of goddess Shakti Ma. It was an immediate celestial command to halt. The falling powder served as the final divine seal. It permanently validated the 2,300 village kingdom and legally shielded his claim from any political dispute. The red powder instantly transformed the dirt beneath it into consecrated ground. When the sun rose, the rival rulers looked upon a massive, continuously marked territory. Faced with undeniable physical proof of divine intervention, they were forced to honor their treaty and surrender the lands. From that single impossible night in Vikram Samvat 111, Harpal Dev established a powerful ruling dynasty that would eventually be known as the fierce Zala Rajputs. Today, this small stone shrine sits atop the rolling desert dunes at Patadi Dham, marking the precise spiritual epicenter where the goddess intervened. Modern families and descendants of that original lineage continually travel back to this exact geographic location to worship Shakti Ma and honor the pact made in the dark. In Indian history, myth, and the physical landscape,